Hello, welcome back to the one and only KERNOW EXP. Today we're doing a walk around quite a famous engine house, folks. This is Killyfreth and we're heading towards Hawk's Pumping Engine House. This one is quite special. Anyway, shall we say hello to the camera? I think we always do, don't we? Hello. So thanks for watching the video that we did over at the Roseland yesterday. The HAA battery and exploring the old church down at St. Justin Roseland. Today we're at a site completely different, but the history here is great, folks. Now, obviously, if you didn't know, I used to be a tour guide for the National Trust at a well-known mining site. Now, what I don't know about mining, it's not worth to know, folks, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to engine houses and mines, so on and so forth. So, yeah, anyway, let's go have a look at Killyfreth. Now, in the title, I said this is a pumping engine house. That's what it was for, folks. It was to remove the water from deep in the ground. Now, water, as we all know, if you're an underground person, is a barrier, and the barrier needs to be removed to allow the miners to work deep underground. Now, many mining sites here in Cornwall, never noticed that before. There's a window there. That's something to do with it, that is. That could be the mine office, something like that. So yeah, water is a problem, you see, so that's why they made engine houses like this. Now, this particular one is unique in the fact that the chimney, which you can see, this chimney here on a mining site here in Cornwall is the tallest, folks. Now, the reason why it's so tall is in its later life, the boilers were extended. They put Lancashire boilers in, which are it's like a Cornish boiler. Rather than just having one, the Lancashire boiler has two. So therefore, they're a bit better on raising steam. Dare I say that in Cornwall? Probably not, but I just did. But so there was a series of Lancashire boilers here at Killyfreth, and we will point out where the boiler house was. Well, we're kind of looking straight at it, really. It's a bit boggy here, isn't it? Oh God, not again. Flipping heck. Ugh. Right, so there's the engine house. We'll get to that in a minute. Now we're walking up now to the site of where the boiler house was. Now there is a feature up here which I should imagine a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about would have no idea about. Now, this doorway here is the original entrance into the boiler house. And of course, over at Mitchell's Whim, that is still the case. They've got a wooden steps that goes up into the boiler house. So that's the original way the engine crew that were in charge of the engine would have communicated with the boiler men. That is the entrance in. Another feature as well on its later life, look down the side here. I'll get closer. Look down the side here. You can see them little lines there. They're actually weatherboards. And I've seen pictures of the black weatherboarding butted up against that. So you can see that very, very clearly right there, folks. That is the weatherboarding. So yeah, quite interesting, eh? So originally we would have been quite toasty here where we are right now. Now, just up above that, look, you can see there's a hole there. Now, that hole is not just any old hole. That's the steam inlet pipe, which went from the boiler house into where the engine is. So today we've got this. This is a bob pit, folks, or balance bob pit. Now, the actual balance bob, which I'll get to. Ugh, bog again. Flipping heck. Right, hang on. Right, so we're now standing on the shaft right now. Whoa, don't want to be doing that for long. Right, okay. You see these foundation's just here. That is the middle of where the bob was, which is the balance bob, folks, which is like a bob like on top of the engine here, probably utilised from an old derelict engine house, I should imagine. And the box at the back there, that box there, on the end part of the bob, which is the beam that counteracted the weight of the pump rod, there was a box on here, and this box would have been filled up with rocks, which basically would have counteracted the weight of the pump rod in the shaft, which therefore makes the engine works more efficiently. Now, obviously there's this one at surface, but in the shaft, there's probably 3 or 4 more, and I've been told from other people that some of the balance bobs are actually still in this particular shaft even today. And even the rising main, which is the main pipe that brung the water to surface, is still in this shaft, and the pump rod, which was connected to the engine, which is up here, is actually still in the shaft today. Eh? Isn't that amazing? Now, if you want to watch some footage of underground here, then I would highly recommend you head over to Benno Cam. He's a fellow Cornish YouTuber, and he's got balls of steel, and Cornish Explorer, another fellow YouTuber that has got balls of steel. He would do stuff that we just cry about. No, they're 2 good chaps. So Benno Cam and Cornish Explorer. Now, what we're looking at here, this is called the bob wall. This is the thickest wall of the engine house because it's designed to take the weight of the bob, which we said earlier about the balance bob. So therefore it's over engineered. So you look at the thickness here, that's about 1.5 meters, and yet the windows over there, look, they're just under 1 meter, I'd say. So you can see what I'm talking about. Now, of course, Cornish engine houses, there's many around, but this one is probably one of the best surviving around, especially this area anyway. But this one's quite unique, as in what I've said earlier. It's got the tallest chimney in Cornwall. So as I said, it was extended basically to create more steam and more boilers. As I said before, they were Lancashire boilers, developed off the back of us Cornish people. It's basically like a Cornish boiler, but it's just got 2 fire tubes rather than 1. So we're going to attempt to get up into the engine house, folks. Ooh, these stairs are precarious. Jeez. These actually broke a few years ago and they repaired them. I do remember that. Right, we're in. Hey. Okay, so let's talk about Hawk's engine house. So this was I think it's an 80-inch or a 90. I think this could be a 90-inch actually, because it does look similar to Taylor's. It's got that same look. So this here is where the cylinder was, folks. Single acting cylinder, steam pumped in, and basically what it really did was steam was to bring the bob in the engine house, and the weight of all the pump rods outside would gradually rock it back out. So you can imagine, right, I'll just try and demonstrate. My arm is the bob. So say we're at the top of the stroke in the shaft or in the engine house, steam would be injected in the cylinder, so it would rock in quick, and then gravity would just rock it out slow like that. And then steam in quick, and then gravity would rock it back out like that. And then steam back in quick, and then gravity would rock it back out like that. And that's how these engines worked, especially the pumping engines. Depends on the stroke of the engine, how much water you've got in your shaft, and how much steam you need from the boilers. So they increased the boilers here, so they must have had a water problem here at this particular mine. You can just see there's insulators over there, folks. That's from probably a telephone, something like that. They might have had electric in here, but this engine house was all complete around 1940, and there's a local tour guide that used to go around like myself, on a bike called Jack Charleston, and he used to take lots of pictures of these mines, and there's been pictures that he took of this mine when they dismantled it, because Self Crofty bought this engine, not the engine house, the engine, and it was transported over to Crofty for spare parts in case their engine was damaged during the war, because obviously they had to continue pumping water, basically, folks. So this engine house, obviously there's 3 chambers. There's the driving floor, which we're on right now, and then you've got the second chamber, which in this engine, slipped then, bloody hell. Second chamber, which be at that level there, and then you've got the top chamber where the bob was, where the guy would have went round with his oil can, just oiling up, making sure everything was all kept good. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. So you've got the plug doorway there, which is the original entrance in and out. These would have had church-style windows in these. There is a couple of engine houses around, folks, that do actually have the window frame still in situ, but that's beginning to get quite rare now. So down here, this is where the cataracts would have been, and there would have been a series of weights in that down there, which would have kept all the apparatus all good. So the driving controls of the engine would have been right here, so kind of floating in mid-air, basically. And that's the plug doorway, and you would have looked outside down to the shaft. And as I said, the shaft is right there. It is capped here, but there is ways you can get into it. I cannot divulge that. I do know that, but I cannot tell you that for various reasons. Right, so now what we're going to do is going to look at where the boilers were. So we're going to get down here now. I don't like it. Bit precarious, these steps, a little bit rotten, a little bit worse for wear, but they're still navigable, so that's good. I think before we go over there, we'll just have a look over here a moment, because this is a spoil tip heap there, which they would have had a little narrow gauge railway system here with tubs, and they would have just pushed them out along here. So we'll just have a little look, folks. There is another engine house down here, which I didn't know about until fairly recently, so we'll have a little nosy at that. So it's definitely been left like this for quite a long time. So, oh blimey, that tree's broke there now. So this is all mine spoil we're on now, folks. Loads of it. Right, good little camping spot this, because we've actually camped here before many years ago. So oh blimey, that's gone, that. Jeez. So this is the edge of the spoil heap here now, as we can see. You can imagine the guys with the tubs and shovels and that, just tipping it here. You can see it down there, folks. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So yeah, there is another engine house down there, which we've been made aware of, so we need to potentially have a look at that at some stage in the future. But for now, there's more spoil heap down there, look. I never noticed that before. It's just like no man's land down there, isn't it? The thing is, you don't know what you're going to find in places like this, because sometimes you can find artefacts that date from when the mine was working, which would be intriguing. The thing is, right, our motto is, if you don't look, you don't know. History is everywhere, folks. You've got to get out there and look at it. Right. So we've not been around here for quite some time. So, the chimney. The reason why they have a chimney, you know, if you're a historian or you know quite a lot about mining, you're going to know, but there's a lot of people that watch our videos that don't really know about it. Right, Cornish engine houses always have a chimney. Sometimes the chimneys are connected to the engine house like this. Sometimes the chimneys are further away. So in this case, the reason why the chimney's there is because it's basically for draft, folks. The taller the chimney, the more draft you've got on the fire, so therefore you can have more steam, so therefore you can pump more water out your mine, basically. But this one, as I said, this one is the tallest chimney in Cornwall, which is unique. Right, now let's go for a bit more of a walk down the bog path. So there's something down here which I want to point out to you guys in a moment, which is interesting. There's a dynamite store down here, and I don't think many people know about that. So we will check it out. Now I'm not sure I can fly the drone today because it is a bit damp. I will try, but I just can't promise it. So here we go. This is where the boiler house would have been, and there probably would have been a winder there. That's remains of the winder, I should imagine. In case if you don't know what a winder is basically a room like that with a massive drum on it, and basically it would have been like a horizontal steam winder, and it would have wound the men up and down in the cages, and it would have raised and lowered the ore from the mine as well. Now this is not just the only engine house at Killyfreth. There's another 1, 2, 3, possibly, yeah, 3 more. So one of them did stamps, which basically smashed the rock up to a very fine sand. It's like a set of lump hammers basically, and it's the same principle as a pumping engine, but rather than having pumps going down the shaft, they would have had a wheel like a whim, like at Mitchell's, and there would have been a series of cams on that, and those cams would have basically had the hammers on a trip. So as they went around, the hammer would drop, so it'd go bang, 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 bang. Always in a series of 8, I think. Excuse me. Get a bit tongue-tied talking, folks. And it's been reported, my own grandfather said to me that he remembers the stamps working, not here, but down at Todpool, which were not far away. And you could hear it for bloody miles, folks. It made a hell of a racket. So most big mining concerns would have had their own stamps. So you can imagine, because there would have been quite a few around, it would have made a hell of a racket. So there's a couple of engines, start again. A couple of engine hoses over there, that's Unity Wood Mine. The top one worked a flat rod system, which worked basically moving the flat rods up and down, and the flat rods went down into the valley and pumped from a little shaft down there. And also the big engine house, which is over there, that's a pump like Killyfreth, a bit smaller though, and that would have pumped the water out down there. So you can imagine water around here would have been a big problem, big factor. So yeah. Right, I think we're going to stop for a moment because I need a break for a second. So we'll be straight back, folks. See you in a mo. Right, folks, so we're heading towards the dynamite store now, which would have been used at this location for storing gunpowder, nitroglycerin, all that sort of jazz. So it would have been quite important to keep it away from where lots of people would have been, because obviously highly explosive, and even back in those days it was kept under lock and key, like it would be today, of course, you know. But there were accidents at mine sites like this. Things did happen. Also the storage of carbide, which is the little rocks you would have used for a sexiling. I said that wrong, didn't I? Gas, basically, for your miner's lamps. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah, so basically what you do with that is you mix it with water and it creates a gas. I do have some at home, which we're going to do a demonstration with that at some point in the future, because I do have a carbide lamp at home which comes from the St Just area, which I bought some time ago. So we're going to be using that to do a time slip experiment in a Cornish mine. So that'll be quite interesting, wouldn't it? So it is quite wet here today. It is damping right now, so I'm not going to be wandering around for much longer now, I'm afraid, folks. So we are coming to the end of today's video. I do hope you enjoyed my waffle. A very knowledgeable waffle, because I do know what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to mining sites and engine houses. As I said, I used to work and volunteer for a well-known organisation. I don't really want to mention them because we fell out with them, folks, basically. Not the organisation, but some people who I used to work for. Not my previous bosses either. Not them, because they were awesome, you know. Anyway, let's get off that, shall we? Right, so here we are. This is the gunpowder dynamite store for Killyfreth Mining Corporation Limited. Can you see it there? So it's still got the original lintel look, folks, which is absolutely amazing. I think the original roof was still on it until a few years ago. So I think I got to clean the lens, sorry folks. Right, there you go. Yeah, so it had a tin roof, and yeah, oh bloody hell, look at that. You can actually still see some of the galvanised roof, which dates from 1930s, 40s, and still one of the main beams, look, the main beam going across still there. You got a bit of the galvanised metal just hanging there as well. So this is where they kept the dynamite for this mine site. We do have another spoil heap there. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or no. But yeah, there you go, folks. Killyfreth Mine dynamite store. So I'm going to try and take some pictures of that before we go. So yeah, there you are, folks. I hope you enjoyed our today's little walk around the mining site of Killyfreth, which I do believe it is connected underground to Wheel Busy. Wheel Busy's just over that way, folks. It's just over the road, like, you know. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. The drone flight is coming now, so I do hope you enjoyed that as well. Don't forget to smash the like button, and if you're new, please subscribe. It does help. You won't be disappointed, because we are the most prolific YouTubers here in Cornwall, pretty much, because we're out all the time doing it, folks. Obviously I do have work commitments, but I now realise that I can actually work around that, so we can still do the same amount of videos, which is like, get on. Anyway, we'll see you later. Enjoy the drone flight. Bye.
Alive.